Hey guys, we got Vitality versus SK. Actually, a really important match for SK. For SK to get to playoffs, they need to win every single game possible. And they've looked really strong, especially Selfmade. Their jungler has been incredible. So a lot of people are talking him to be the MVP candidate. While I do think he is a candidate, I still have to give it to Caps. I think Caps has been the single most valuable player and the single best performing player in all of LEC, but Selfmade is a close second. As for Vitality, that's the one team I hate. My dislike for Vitality comes from a lot of their sporadicness and a lot of their what seems to be very raw gameplay, which is favored right now, to be honest, to play more raw, to play more aggressive, and to be the engagers and to be the aggressors. It's just sometimes from Vitality, it looks like it comes out without a lot of planning, and I have a lot of dislike for that. So let's see how they play, and let's see how biased I am towards them. Zizuke back in mid lane after being sick for a week or so. If we talk about standout players on Vitality, it has to be Cabochard. I think Cabochard is probably the second best top laner, or the second best performing top laner this split after Wonder. He's been incredibly strong for Vitality. Very, very resource free. Maybe he'll get one gank per game. He's always almost blind picking, but still putting out such great results in terms of amount of pressure he gets in lane, never dying, and being able to beat the enemy top laner in both CS and having priority. Just Cabochard has been incredibly good. While Mowgli's aggression and what Mowgli and Zizuke gets done on the map is the core engine of Vitality, it's only possible because they have a top laner like Cabochard. Cabochard is such a good framework for what makes Vitality tick. Think of Mowgli and Jijuke as the engine and Cabochard as the frame that the car is built on. Yes, the car can't run without the engine, but without the frame, there isn't a car in the first place. So Lucian first pick, followed up by Lissandra Thresh, and Vitality replying with Jarvan and Rise. Been really enjoying the Rise pick from all of the teams over the world. Rise is an incredibly good solo laner when you pair him up with a very strong ganking jungler like Jarvan, and very good in team fights later on, very good in split push later on, a very flexible champion. And long as you can get him through his early game, which can be weak, with maybe a good ganking jungler like we talked about, then he's going to hit a point where he becomes out of control. He's a ticking time bomb. On the other hand, SK Gaming going for Jinx. Crownshot has been putting a lot of games on Jinx, and he's been the late game carry for SK Gaming along with Pyrian. But most of their wins have been coming off from Selfmade building his early game leads and being able to snowball that. Attila. The loudest and the most cockiest players in EU. I've enjoyed the trash talk. I am actually a huge fan of trash talk, so I've been a pretty big fan of Attila for this split. I just hope he shows better performance, because it's a lot more fun when the person doing the trash talk is actually the best player on the team and one of the best players in the region. So it looks like Jarvan's going top lane with Galio support. Still a very good wombo. Jarvan top followed up by Galio wombo. And they took an even stronger jungler in terms of gank with Lee Sin. So the Rise Lee combo in mid lane is going to be something that SK is going to have to watch out for a lot. So on SK side, they actually finished up their draft with Jax and Rek'Sai. So they have a lot of 1-3-1 potential with the Lissandra and Jax. A lot of things they can do later on in the game. Lissandra trailing Jax and trying to get a 2v1 kill. And then Jax can both TP towards Baron. But also, one thing that Lissandra plus Rek'Sai does is it makes the mid 2v2 extremely competitive. So even though Vitality got a very strong 2v2 in Rise and Lee, the mid 2v2 is not going to be easy as they think it will be, due to Rek'Sai being a very good pick into Lee, and Lissandra being also a very strong pick. Like Lissandra Lee or Lissandra Rek'Sai can definitely streamroll Rise plus Lee Sin. If I have to pick one side of the matchup to be on, I would probably choose to be on the Lissandra Rek'Sai side. Let's see how this goes. Rek'Sai starting top side, most likely going to do red double golem scuttle. That's a very standard Rek'Sai path thing that gives you level 3. Lee Sin doing his red and coming up for the top side and actually playing for the scuttle, so Rek'Sai can't do the 3 camp path thing that we talked about. Looks like Selfmade is reading that though, and he's not going for the scuttle, instead going for Wraith and going to be jungling towards bot. Remember what we talked regarding the mid 2v2 and how the Lissandra Rek'Sai is nothing to breeze over? I mean, this wasn't a 2v2, but it was Rise trying to get his wave shot in, and Selfmade just responded really well. Yeah, you can see Rise is trying to get his wave shoved in, and Pyrian shot out his E, and Selfmade also adjusted his pathing to make sure he's nearby the gank. You don't see that much early kills nowadays due to people warding extremely heavily, and it just like, yeah, people ward extremely heavily and no one plays dumb enough to get ganked. So early ganks like this and early kills like this are very rare to see, and it's really important that teams actually do take advantage of it. Oh, that taunt flash, burning a flash on crown shot. I mean, Jinx is a weak laner early, and Galio Lucian definitely can bully them. So, but even when you do get bullied, what you want to do is you want to make sure you're down CS and not down stuff like HP. If you trade CS for HP too much, then you're going to be down in HP, and at a certain point you have to recall, or you have to, the mid 2v2 that we talked about being extremely important, Jack's participating also. This is the best way to play versus the Rise. You either draft stronger 2v2s or 2v2s that can contest the Rise, or you draft comps that can outrange them. So something like a poke comp that can outrange a Rise. But Rise is also incredibly good about engaging with his ult. I guess his ult isn't an incredibly good engage tool, but it is a creative tool that can be used as engage. Crown shot even with CS, even though he missed half the wave. Oh, he is even on CS. That is really good at crown shot. Now, but once Attila gets rested this wave, it's going to catch up for him, yeah. Attila's going to be up slightly. Wow. The timing that SK went for this, holy shit. Let's go back and look. Vitality got schooled so hard. They ended up giving up free dragon plus a kill. How did this happen? So Rise is backed in base, and then they started it. So SK found a really good timing to start dragon when Rise is back in base. Vitality deciding to check in anyways and looking for a trade on it, and Pyrian able to teleport, and he killed the Galio who ventured in too far. So I've been told Jack Troll has been the worst part of the 2v2 between Attila, or between the duo lane, and getting caught out in situations like that where your Rise isn't gonna even coming up to dragon, I think, yeah, that doesn't bode well. You do want to just back up all the way, because dude, your Rise isn't even coming for that dragon. Damn, Selfmade is running train on this guy. SK are building, like, this is the thing I dislike about Vitality. They can be very inconsistent with their play, and they're very dependent on just winning through skirmishes, and when they lose through skirmishes, they tend to bleed out really heavily like this. The way that FK is getting lead on Vitality is based on just skirmishing. They're winning 2v2s, they're winning 1v1s, like winning the 2v2 bot, winning the 2v1 mid. It's just a lot of non-macro League of Legends, but both teams are so willing to fight, and Vitality, the team that's losing, is still so willing to fight, where they need to kind of recover a bit. Where Vitality needs to stabilize. Instead of stabilizing, I feel like they're just welcoming the aggression and taking the place. Vitality going for a surprise lane swap. You do this. So I would have liked to see Vitality do this a bit earlier. You go for this lane swap play when you feel like we can't win through laning. So we need to stop laning. So we're going to force the enemy team to stop laning by forcing a lane swap. And that's what Vitality is going for. SK still got first turret, but Vitality, it is nice of them to get out of constantly laning and get Herald and reply back on top side. But now after SK gets first turret bot, they rotate mid, they get it. Vitality's always going to be a bit behind on tempo due to they're the ones that force the swap. Does it benefit their comp though? I mean, it doesn't benefit their comp, but it's even worse for their comp if they just stay in the lane. It's kind of like amputating your arm. You amputate your arm whenever, what is it? You have a disease or something that's going to spread throughout your body. Is amputating your arm good? But it's better than the disease spreading to your entire body. So it's taking the lesser evil, like swapping to make sure, yes, you're going to fall behind in tempo, but it's better than just laning constantly and getting killed in lane and losing turret on top of that. Yeah, Crown Shot got first turret, but they did reply with a turret back top for Vitality. Jack's also able to beat Jarvan in the side lane. Lissandra also going to get priority. They also have to watch out for wherever Rek'Sai is. If Rek'Sai's bot side, Jarvan can get dove. If Rek'Sai's top side, Ryze can get dove. If Rek'Sai's mid, Thresh playing aggressive with Flash Flay. A lot of things that can happen. And Rek'Sai's positioning, yeah, so you see how far back the Ryze is playing and how scared he has to be. Just the possibility of Rek'Sai being able to be there makes it really scary. Remember what we also talked about Cabochard being a really solid player? Like throughout the entirety of the game, Cabochard is the only one that's doing decent for Vitality at the moment. The only one of CS. Attila's also doing... Attila's doing okay. A lot of the int came from Jack Troll more so than Attila. But that's life of AD a lot of times. When you're on the losing side as AD carry, very little you can do, and often enough you're waiting for your team. Or you're waiting for items and when you guys can start taking team fights. Now it's going to come down to FK being able to snowball the game. They're going to be able to get 3 Dragon after taking this Ocean Drake, and after that they can start looking for Baron. Because they have Jax, Rek'Sai, Jinx, their Baron speed is incredibly fast. And also, when they do get control of Baron's side, their pick is really good too with Lissandra and Thresh. As we talked about the pick stuff happening, them being able to get picks on top side with a teleport flank, and just pushing down all the way top and pressuring 2 lanes at once. Vitality trying to reply with, like, I guess kind of a pick on their own, but Yeah, it's just not happening. And they're not even going on Jinx. They were going on the Lissandra. What the fuck? And they're going to be able to end the game before, without even taking Baron. Holy shit. 20-minute game. This was brutal for Vitality, but a lot of Vitality losses are going to come out like this, where if you're dependent, if you win through skirmishing, then you're going to lose through skirmishing too. If any team beats, like if your team, if the backbone of your team is going to be, we win skirmishes and we snowball off of skirmishes, then when you lose skirmishes, you're going to get games like this. So very well played to SK, but also what the fuck Vitality.